Yeah, Amber, well, details are limited and the investigation is still in its early stages at this point. But Georgetown fire officials say a man in his 60s is dead after a fire broke out at one of these storage units here at Bluegrass Storage. This scene is just off of Connector Road in Georgetown. That is between Paris Pike and Cherry Blossom Way. If you look at some of the video we have from this scene, you can see the badly burnt contents of that storage unit that were left behind. I spoke with Chief Tim Thompson earlier this afternoon. He says the danger with storage units and fire is that they can go up in flames so quickly because of the way that items are often packed in from wall to wall. Now, Chief Thompson couldn't say what caused the death or the fire to break out in this incident, but he described the scene when they first arrived this afternoon.
There was smoke coming out of the units over here. On the way here, you could see smoke from the bypass. Once the crews arrived, there was smoke coming around 3 different units over here, one more significantly than the others. By the time they popped the door on that one and got it up, we did have a dog that came out, and then shortly after that, that led to the fact, obviously, that there may be somebody inside.
I'm told from a source here on scene that the victim did own the unit in which he was found by first responders. The source added that their quick response, first responders that is, their quick response very likely saved the life of the dog in this incident. The Scott County coroner is still working to notify next of kin before identifying the victim in this incident, and he says the body is being taken to the state medical examiner's office in Frankfort for an autopsy. So still a lot of questions without answers in this incident. We'll try to bring you those details when we can, but for now, live in Georgetown, I'm Jeremy Toms. I'll send it back to you.
Jeremy.